Part 10. The unified Empire Empire of Shadowstein, now more unified and united than ever, decides to attempt to colonize the planet of Neptune, and thus the attempted colonization of the planet of Neptune is begun. The Dark Queen Lilith, Dark King Mordecai, and Dark Lord Lothar, along with the newly formed Dark Matter Dr. Erebus, accompany Darkest Emperor Alpha to the planet of Neptune. As they make their way to the planet, they discuss the potential challenges they may face. Alpha reveals that there is a powerful race of beings known as the Liquid Ones who reside on Neptune, and they are notorious for their cunning and ability to control water. He asks Erebus for his insight on how to deal with them. Erebus, intrigued by the prospect of facing a new foe, begins to analyze the Liquid One's abilities and weaknesses. He suggests that they might have advanced technology that allows them to manipulate water at a molecular level, which could pose a threat to Dark Emperor Alpha's forces. However, he also points out that their reliance on water might be their Achilles heel. Erebus proposes that they create a weapon that can disrupt the molecular structure of water, rendering it useless to the Liquid Ones. As they approach Neptune, the planet's turquoise and blue hues become visible through the void of space. The Dark Queen, Dark King, and Dark Lord, all seasoned warriors in their own right, are the planet with a mix of awe and determination. Erebus, still adjusting to his newfound allegiance with Dark Emperor Alpha, feels a sense of pride swell within him at the thought of facing such a powerful enemy together. The group lands on Neptune, their feet sinking into the soft, gelatinous substance that serves as the planet's surface. As they make their way toward the Liquid One's domain, they discuss Erebus' proposed weapon. The Dark King, an expert in weaponry, offers to personally oversee its creation, while the Dark Queen, an accomplished strategist, begins planning their overall assault. Erebus, still finding his footing within the ranks of the Dark Ones, feels a mixture of awe and fear as they approach the Liquid One's fortress. Built from massive, glistening structures of water-carved crystal, it towers over the landscape like a shining beacon of the very element they control. The air is thick with the scent of salt and the hum of aquatic life. The Dark Queen, her face set in a steely expression, turns to Erebus. "And what makes you think this weapon will be enough?" she asks coolly. The Liquid Ones are clever, cunning, and their control over water is legendary. They will not be easily defeated. Erebus hesitates, unsure how much to reveal about the weapon's true capabilities. Its effectiveness lies not just in its destructive power, he says carefully, but also in its ability to manipulate the very substance they hold so dear. It can disrupt their control over water and force them into submission.
The Dark King nods thoughtfully, his expression revealing nothing. Clever plan, he says at last, but it is only as strong as its weakest link. We must be prepared for any countermeasures they may have prepared. Darkest Emperor Alpha then reminds them of how very early on they encountered a similar situation with the Lunarians on the moon, and just brief usage of his tendrils of darkness had solved that within an instant, so they could easily switch to that tactic at a moment's notice if needed. The Dark Queen looks thoughtful, her emerald eyes narrowing as she studies each of them in turn. Very well, she says at last. Then let us continue with our plan. Erebus, you shall accompany the Dark Lord as he seeks out the Shadow Emperor's forces. The Dark King and I will remain here, preparing our own strike against the enemy. And I will be the backup plan in case you know what hits the fan. Darkest Emperor Alpha asks, you might be needed for that after all. The Dark Queen replies with a sly smile, very well. Then, Erebus, you know what to do. Dark matter scientist Erebus nods in understanding, his gaze shifting between the four of them. He feels a mixture of excitement and trepidation at the prospect of working more closely with Alpha, as well as the knowledge that he is part of something much larger than himself. As they make their way through the endless halls of the palace, Erebus can't help but marvel at the intricate details and designs that adorn every surface. He wonders how much knowledge and power it must have taken to create such a magnificent structure, and how many centuries it must have taken to reach its current state. Darkest Emperor Alpha then casually provides the information that Erebus is curious about to him of the knowledge and power used to create it, as well as how long it took, that being only about a decade or so. Erebus is surprised to hear this, but quickly recovers and asks about the specifics of that process and the individuals responsible. Alpha replies that it was not a single person or even a group of people, but rather a collective effort of countless beings working together over the course of that brief time span. He further explains that the palace itself is not just a physical structure, but also a living being, imbued with the essence and memories of those who created it. As they walk, the Dark King, Dark Queen, and Dark Lord, having finished their earlier errands, silently rejoin the group. Their presence is hardly noticed by either Erebus or Alpha, who continue their deep conversation. The other three exchange knowing glances, recognizing the significance of this moment and the potential implications it might have for their own futures. Erebus listens intently as Alpha describes the process of imbuing the palace with life, marveling at the level of sophistication and understanding required to achieve such a feat. He wonders if such a thing could be replicated elsewhere, or if it was unique to this particular place. Darkest Emperor Alpha then clarifies that just about anything, especially construction-wise, is possible with enough magic or powerful enough magic. He even mentions how he could casually recreate the very structure and miracle that they are currently walking through within just an afternoon at most. The Dark Queen, Dark King, and Dark Lord, still listening intently, feel a mixture of awe and curiosity as they process this information. They have always known that Alpha was powerful, but hearing about his capabilities in such vivid detail leaves them speechless. The Dark Lord, in particular, can't help but wonder how they might harness even a fraction of that power for their own purposes. As Erebus continues to listen to Alpha speak, he finds himself drawn in by the stories of ancient magic and the understanding of the universe that the Dark Emperor possesses. He begins to imagine the possibilities of what could be achieved if they were to work together, combining Alpha's knowledge and experience with his own thirst for power and control. A newfound sense of purpose begins to take shape in his mind as he wonders if there might be a way for him to find redemption, not just for himself, but for all those who have been wronged by the God Emperors and their ilk, the Dark Queen, King, and Lord who have been quietly observing the exchange knowing glances. They too have felt the weight of their past actions and have been struggling to find their place in this new world order. As they listen to Erebus and Alpha converse, they begin to see the potential for something truly revolutionary to emerge from their alliance. Erebus finally finds the courage to speak up, his voice barely audible over the pounding of his heart. Alpha ... if I am to find redemption, to make amends for the wrongs I've committed ... what would you have me do? He asks, his eyes locked on the Dark Emperor's own, searching for some sign of approval or guidance. Darkest Emperor Alpha simply says that he'd have him do the same stuff he would be normally doing for him soon enough. In time, you'll have access to power beyond your wildest dreams, Erebus. Power to shape the very fabric of reality itself. But with that power comes great responsibility. You must learn to wield it wisely for the betterment of all beings, not just those who serve you. You must become a beacon of hope, a force for good in a world that has known nothing but light for far too long. Dark Erebus nods, his eyes shining with determination. I understand, Alpha, and I swear with every fiber of my being that I will not let you down. Together, we can bring about a new age of enlightenment. We can end the tyranny of the God Emperors and their ilk, and usher in an era of true peace and prosperity for all. The Dark King, Dark Queen, and Dark Lord, having listened in on the conversation, exchange glances. The Dark King, his voice steady and resolute, speaks up. We too pledge our allegiance to you, Alpha. You have shown us a path towards redemption, and we will follow it to the end. The Dark Queen nods in agreement, her features etched with determination. Together, we shall forge a new destiny for ourselves and all those who follow us, one free from the shackles of tyranny and oppression. Anyways, I feel like we should really be focusing on the colonization quest here and save all of this for later. Okay, Darkest Emperor Alpha says. Dark Erebus nods. Yes, you're right. There is much work to be done. I shall begin preparing our forces immediately. And rest assured, my Lord Alpha, I will not fail you. As they converse, the Dark Queen, Dark King, and Dark Lord approach, silently observing the exchange between their leader and the newly inducted Erebus. The Dark King, Mordecai, studies Erebus with interest. Sensing a kinship between them, he wonders if Alpha sees the same connection. The chamber they're in is vast, its walls adorned with ancient tapestries, depicting scenes of battle and conquest. The triumph of darkness over light. The air is thick with anticipation and the scent of burning incense. The sound of distant battle still echoes outside, reminding them all that there is much work to be done. As Erebus makes his way back to his quarters to begin preparing their forces, the Dark Queen, Dark King, and Dark Lord silently trail behind, each lost in their own thoughts about the conversation they had just witnessed. They wonder what Alpha sees in Erebus, and how this new addition will shape the future of their empire. The chamber they are in is vast, its walls adorned with ancient tapestries, depicting scenes of battle and conquest. The triumph of darkness over light. The air is thick with anticipation and the scent of burning incense. The sound of distant battle still echoes outside, reminding them all that there is much work to be done. As Erebus works on uniting the forces under Darkest Emperor Alpha, he begins to form a bond with Gort and Sapentia, discovering that their personalities and goals are not as different from his own as he once thought. Meanwhile, Dark King Mordecai, Dark Queen Lilith, and Dark Lord Lothar continue to grapple with the implications of their actions and the newfound knowledge about the true nature of good and evil. They find solace in each other's company, sharing stories of their past lives and the people they've loved and lost along the way. Meanwhile, Darkest Emperor Alpha gets bored of waiting and just goes in and uses his tendrils of darkness too. Then bring the Liquid Ones, and thus the planet of Neptune, under the control of the Empire of Shadowstein. The Dark Queen, Lilith, watches this with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Your power is truly immense, my lord. It is awe-inspiring to witness it. The Empire of Celestia, now invigorated by their new stellar forge and powerful alliance, decides to attempt to colonize the planet of Mercury, and thus, the attempted colonization of Mercury is begun. A massive fleet of starships, including Seraphim and Reaper, accompanied by a contingent of X-3 warships, approaches the innermost planet of the solar system. The fleet deploys a vast array of warp gates, creating a network of stable wormholes that allows for rapid travel between Earth, Mercury, and the new colonies that will be established in the asteroid belt. As the fleet begins its slow descent towards Mercury, Seraphim and Reaper confer with the 10th 3 leaders, discussing the challenges and opportunities that await them on the surface. They debate the best methods for terraforming the planet, taking into account Mercury's extreme temperatures, lack of atmosphere, and abundance of resources in the form of metals and minerals. The X-3 contribute their expertise in cybernetics and materials science, promising to help create a self-sustaining colony that can withstand the harsh environment. The fleet arrives at a designated landing site, and the first wave of colonists disembarks, accompanied by teams of engineers, scientists, and construction workers. The airlocks hiss open, and the colonists step out onto the surface of Mercury for the first time. The sun looms large in the sky, its intense heat causing the regolith to glow orange red. The sky is a deep cobalt blue, almost black, contrasting sharply with the bright white landscape. Seraphim and Reaper, along with the X-3 leaders, survey the landscape from the relative comfort of an air-conditioned command center inside one of the capital ships. They discuss the initial plans for terraforming Mercury, focusing on creating habitable domes to shield the colonists from the harsh environment. The X3 contribute their expertise in materials science and engineering, promising to create durable, lightweight, and energy-efficient structures that can withstand the extreme temperatures and constant bombardment of micrometeorites. Meanwhile, the first wave of colonists, equipped with specialized cybernetic enhancements provided by the X3, begin the arduous task of excavating the surface of Mercury. They use powerful lasers to vaporize rocks and metals, gathering resources that will be vital to the colony's survival. The X3 engineers, in turn, use these materials to begin construction of the first habitation dome. Seraphim and Reaper, impressed by the X3's expertise and work ethic, discuss their long-term plans for the colony. They envision a thriving metropolis, utilizing the planet's abundant resources to become a center of industry and innovation. The X3 contribute their knowledge of energy manipulation and cybernetics, promising to help develop revolutionary technologies that will push the boundaries of human or alien achievement. As the first dome nears completion, engineers begin to install a network of solar panels on its surface, converting the incessant sunlight into clean, renewable energy. The energy produced is enough to power the construction of additional domes and support the growing population. The domes themselves are designed to maximize efficiency with innovative cooling systems and smart glass technology that allows for natural light while maintaining a comfortable temperature. The X3 engineers, meanwhile, continue to push the boundaries of materials science, creating lighter and stronger alloys for use in construction and exploration. They also work on developing self-repairing technologies that will allow the domes and other structures to maintain themselves over time, reducing the need for constant maintenance. As the colony grows, so does the need for food and water. The X3 contribute their expertise in hydroponics and aquaculture, helping the colonists establish sustainable food production systems within the domes. They also share their knowledge of synthetic food production, allowing for the creation of nutritious and delicious meals from basic elements. The domes become thriving ecosystems, with parks and gardens filled with lush vegetation and exotic flora. The X3, with their deep understanding of biology and ecology, help design these spaces to maximize aesthetics and promote mental health. They also work on developing new forms of entertainment, such as interactive holographic experiences and immersive virtual reality worlds, to keep the colonists engaged and happy. As the colony continues to grow, so does the need for infrastructure. The X3 engineers design efficient transportation systems, with maglev trains and automated vehicles whisking colonists between domes. They also create advanced waste management and recycling systems, ensuring that the colony remains sustainable and environmentally friendly. The colony's education system flourishes under the guidance of the 10th Three, who share their vast knowledge in mathematics, physics, and other sciences. The curriculum is tailored to meet the needs of the growing population, with an emphasis on practical skills and interdisciplinary learning. The X3 also establish a network of research institutions, where human and alien scientists collaborate on cutting-edge projects in fields such as energy, materials science, and cybernetics. The colony's arts and culture scene thrives as well, with the X3 helping to create new forms of expression through their knowledge of holography and interactive media. They also introduce the colonists to their own rich cultural heritage, which includes music, dance, and visual arts. Joint performances and exhibitions become a regular occurrence, fostering cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. As the colony continues to grow, the X3 and humans begin to explore the world beyond their domed sanctuary. Using the X3's advanced technology, they terraform the harsh desert landscape outside the domes, creating habitable environments where none existed before. This process is slow and meticulous, but it allows for the establishment of new colonies and the expansion of their influence across the planet. The X3, with their expertise in exobiology and xenology, help the humans to study and understand the native flora and fauna of the planet. They discover new species of plants and animals, some of which display remarkable adaptations to the harsh conditions. The X3 also share their knowledge of synthetic biology, enabling the colonists to engineer new organisms that can thrive in these environments. As the colony continues to expand, so does the need for new energy sources. The X3 contribute their advanced knowledge in fusion power, enabling the construction of safe, efficient, and sustainable power plants. They also help to develop renewable energy technologies, such as solar and wind power, that can be implemented on a large scale. The X3, with their expertise in terraforming and environmental engineering, guide the colonists in restoring the planet's ecosystems. They work together to reintroduce native flora and fauna, as well as create new habitats for species that have been engineered for survival in the harsh conditions. The colony's economy continues to thrive, with trade and commerce flourishing between the domed cities and the newly established outposts. The X3 share their advanced knowledge in nanotechnology and material science, enabling the development of new manufacturing techniques and products. This leads to a boom in research and development, with companies competing to create the next big breakthrough in fields such as biotechnology, energy storage, and computing. As the colony's influence expands across the planet, it faces new challenges. The X3 help the humans to navigate complex diplomatic negotiations with other emerging colonies and native civilizations. They also advise on environmental stewardship, ensuring that the expansion of human settlements does not come at the expense of the delicate ecosystems they encounter. The colony's scientific community continues to push the boundaries of knowledge, with breakthroughs in fields such as artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and bioprinting. The X3's advanced understanding of quantum physics and gravity allow for the development of revolutionary new technologies that could potentially change the course of human history. The cultural exchange between the X3 and humans flourishes as well, with joint art exhibitions and performances becoming a regular occurrence. The X3's holographic technology allows for the creation of immersive and awe-inspiring works of art, while human artists learn to incorporate X3 design principles into their own creations. As the colony expands, the need for efficient transportation becomes increasingly important. The X3 share their knowledge in anti-gravity technology, enabling the development of levitating vehicles that can traverse the terrain with ease. These vehicles, along with the extensive network of high-speed rail lines, make long-distance travel fast and convenient, fostering even greater cultural and economic integration between the colonies. The X3 also contribute to the field of medicine, teaching human doctors how to treat native diseases and engineer new cures for ailments that have plagued the human race for centuries. Their understanding of genetics and bioengineering allows for the creation of personalized medicines tailored to each individual's unique genetic makeup. This leads to a dramatic reduction in the incidence of debilitating diseases and an increase in overall life expectancy. Emperor Solaris then called for a meeting with the 10th 3 leaders so he can make them his second in command. The meeting takes place in a grand chamber adorned with holographic artwork and overlooks the sprawling cityscape. Emperor Solaris and the X3 leader, a female named Zarya, discuss the colony's progress and future plans. Zarya agrees to take on the role of second in command, feeling that her people can contribute more effectively to the colony's success in this capacity. As they talk, they touch upon the ongoing challenges of integrating the X3 culture into human society, the X3's advanced technology, and different way of thinking sometimes lead to misunderstandings and tensions. However, both species are committed to finding common ground and working together for the greater good. Emperor Solaris even emphasizes that he would be willing to have the X3 culture become the main culture of the Empire due to them seemingly having knowledge of everything and the ability to make technology and advancements in all aspects. Zarya, though humble, expresses her gratitude for his trust and promises that she will do her best to help guide the Empire through its next steps. They discuss the possibility of creating a new language that incorporates aspects of both human and X3 linguistics, symbolizing their unity and shared vision for the future. The meeting concludes with a grand feast where humans and X3 mingle, sample each other's cuisine, and share stories of their respective cultures. As the night wears on, the atmosphere grows increasingly festive with dancing, music, and laughter filling the chamber. The X3S holographic technology creates an awe-inspiring light show that bathes the room in a kaleidoscope of colors, while human musicians perform traditional songs and X3 competitions.